So this is a quick overview to familiarize you with a breakout. This is an example of a breakout that I made for the biology department on cell parts and structures. The premise of a breakout is much like an escape room. So the goal is that you are finding clues as well as answers so that you can unlock the locks and escape. This storyline is that the biology class has taken a field trip to Eastman and that they are touring a lab and the student has gotten locked in. So what they have to do is they have to escape and return to their class before their teacher notices that they were ever gone. On this Google site, it's important to point out to students that anything can be a clue. They need to click on anything, just kind of try things out, and that failure is expected and it's meant to be a challenge, and so they just need to persevere. At the beginning of the page are the locks, and so this is a form that contains all of the locks that students must work through in order to escape. This particular one has a word lock, it has a year lock, it has a color lock, it has a number lock, and it has a directional lock. And when it's appropriate, there are little clues and indicators of what they need to be looking for with this. For instance, a number lock in this one is going to have 6 numbers, not necessarily 6 digits, and when they enter it, they do not use commas. So as they're working through looking for clues, they do also, whenever they think they have an answer, they can come type it in. And if it is incorrect, then the box around that lock turns pink, and then there's an error message that gives them a hint. So in this case, it tells them to try again and asks if they have found the jigsaw puzzle, and to remember that everything on the page, to click on everything on the page because it may be a hidden link. So as we scroll down, the first content section of the page is about the history of cell research. And so students will notice that there's a timeline here. This is about the easiest clue on the page. Pretty quickly students will notice that there are X's here instead of dates. So on this one they need to figure out what the date is. When they click on this link here, because remember links can be hidden anywhere, when they click on this link it takes them to a Wikipedia page, and as they scroll down the page they can find this section and they can find the corresponding date, and that will open the year lock that is at the top of the page. The next section is about parts of a cell. So there are labeled cells for animal and plant cells here, and each organelle is numbered. Within this same section there's a video that talks about the parts of a cell and what is happening inside of a cell. And just about verbatim, this text is taken from the video, and so it talks about the parts of a cell. One thing in this case that the teachers really want to make sure that students can do is, number one, know what the jobs are of the parts of a cell, and to also be able to identify parts in a cell. So this particular task is going to combine both of those things. The students will watch a video, they will fill out which parts of the cell go in the blank, and then with this being here so close together, hopefully they will realize after a little bit of trial and error that whatever word was in this blank, that is the number on this from the parts of the cell that will contribute to building the code for the number lock. The next section is under a microscope. So students had viewed different types of cells under a microscope, and so here are plant cells and animal cells pictured. There's a little blurb about plant and animal cells and the differences and similarities between them. And remember, anything can be a link. So when they click on this microscope, it takes them to a jigsaw puzzle, which I just worked this one. And so on this they can move the pieces and it will turn into this picture, and it asks what type of cells are pictured. So the correct answer to the word lock is going to be animal cells, because these were animal cells that were pictured. The last section on the page is about how a cell is like a city. So there were some analogies that teachers wanted students to be familiar with for understanding the parts of a cell and how they work together. So here is a video that was pulled in. and it has parts of a cell and how they work together. And that corresponds to this, which is a link. This is a link to a Google Sheet. And so whenever they put in a correct answer on the Google Sheet, for example, this one was nucleus. Whenever they go to the next cell, there's some conditional formatting done so that when they have the correct answer, it will change colors. Once they answer all of these questions, then they have this series of colors to unlock the color lock. Lastly, they have a review. And so it's a bit of a quiz based on their class notes of different things that they needed to know about the cells. And they notice as they go through that the answers are not always A, B, C, D. In fact, there are lots of different letters from the alphabet. Every letter is covered. So when they click on this picture, it takes them to a directional letter key. And so this combined with their answers will give them the answer, or I'm sorry, will give them the code to unlock the directional lock. So that is the cells breakout. Thanks for watching.